Hi, clowns. Welcome to Crimenelia Street. I'm Sam.
And I'm Tori.
And we are gathered here today after a doozy of a day yesterday, which was 8:20, by the way.
Yeah.
So if you know, you know.
The great clowning of 8:20. The day will live on in infamy. And I do know what infamy means, and I stand by it.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. But to be fair, like, this wasn't just us being all nimbly-bimbly, like, clowning for no reason. The signs were there.
She did a 2-0. Now, do you think she was doing that just for the music video?
I didn't even think about that, actually. I don't know.
It seems like a lot for a music video. She was doing the snake wave out.
Right. And, like, the time when her piano glitched and you could hear the snake sound.
Yes.
The abundance of Reputation surprise songs.
I did something bad.
I did something bad? Like, come on.
Taylor. She knew it. She knew what she was doing. She just, I think Shoshana said it best. She said, so she just doesn't want us to be happy.
Exactly. Although, I mean, what we did get yesterday was pretty awesome.
I will say, I'm really glad we did. I was watching that one. I actually haven't seen a TikTok yet of the Florida performance because I've been so busy since then, and I cannot wait.
Oh, yeah. I found some good ones that I'll send to you. The way Florence just, like, rises up like an angel. It is, like, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. It was so good. Like, one of my favorite live performances, like, of all time. Like, top 10 for sure.
Yeah. I heard Florida, and I'm like, at first it took me a second. I'm like, wait, what?
Right. Like, oh my gosh! Now people are saying, though, maybe it's an Easter egg for Reputation in Miami. Because her 1989 outfit, like, the colors were of, they're similar to the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, stop.
I know. No,
now
people
that's
are going
stretch.
there. Right. Like, I'm not even going there yet. I'm like, wake me up when Reputation, Taylor's version, is released. Like, I think I need to
I don't know if my heart can take it anymore. To be I love Taylor. I'm having so much fun with all the guessing. I don't know how many more times I can be wrong. So I figure if I just don't guess, then I can't be wrong.
Exactly.
Maybe we should, like, fill some of the listeners in if they don't know what was going on yesterday. But pretty much for the non-Swifties out there, I guess we call it clowning when we guess, like, when Taylor's gonna release things, particularly Reputation. And we clowned yesterday. We were pretty sure, I mean, all the content creators, even who, like, cover Taylor Swift news and stuff, like, everyone was on the same page. We thought there was a high chance we were getting an announcement for Reputation, Taylor's version, which is funny. It has to be the most anticipated album of hers ever, and it's one that we kind of already have, but not her version and not the vault tracks.
Exactly. I am, those vault tracks. As she said, they're going to be fire. So.
Locked away in lowercase inside
in
a vault. So yeah, we were sure we were getting it, and that we did not. But we did get some really cool guest appearances at the last London show. So we got Florence the Machine came on and sang Florida with Taylor, which isn't usually part of the set list. And then Jack Antonoff came up, and they did Death by a Thousand Cuts mashup with Getaway Car. And we're just being, like, so cutesy up there.
I love it.
Like, back
and
to
just
back.
Like, yes. And the classic clip, people, like, actually mash it up. Do you know the clip I'm talking about where they're writing Reputation and they're trying to figure out the words? So they're kind of going back and forth. Have you seen that?
I don't know, actually.
Okay, because they pretty much recreated it on stage, and it was so adorable. Yeah, and it's funny also because, you know, the Dayman song from It's Always Sunny, when they're trying to write it, it's like, Dayman, he's like, yes, fighter of the Nightman, and Dennis is like, yes, champion of the... And then Charlie's like, son. And it literally, like, the way Jack and Taylor are writing Getaway Car sounds exactly like that. So people, I'll have to send it to you. And they recreated it on stage. And it was, like, so funny. Yeah.
Oh.
So cute. So that was also, so I'm not terribly disappointed considering everything.
Yes, it was still a great show. I will say I will never buy tickets for anywhere except for London.
Nope. I mean, we gotta make sure our passports are up to date and everything for next time. So
yeah. Well, we usually save the Taylor Swift stuff for the end. But
I mean, there's plenty of other things that we can talk about at the end too. So
we were a bit antsy. I felt like we kind of had to get that off our chests. I have a little pre-palate cleanser this time.
There we go, yeah.
Are you ready for the sad stuff?
I'm ready. Hit me.
Okay, so this week we are doing Betsy Aardsma. Have you heard of this case?
I have not. Okay.
I'm not surprised you haven't heard of it. I hadn't heard of it yet until actually a Tinder boy recommended this one. He went to Pennsylvania State College, and this happened there back in the 60s. And like, I guess all the students have like different like theories on what happened. So he knew that I did a true crime podcast and was like, oh, you should look into this. So I did.
Very cool.
Yeah. Okay, so Elizabeth Ruth Betsy Aardsma was her name, and she went by Betsy. She was 22 years old at the time of her death. She was born in Holland, Michigan. So the story though of her death and like the surrounding circumstances has been a mystery and people still talk about it on campus. I guess though it's getting to this point where like it's kind of like an if you know you know type of thing, and like there are some people, it depends like what social circles you're in. There are some people who work in the library and have never even heard of it. So people are kind of concerned that the case is, because it's still an unsolved case, people are concerned that it's losing steam, I guess, or just like not talked about as much anymore. So we'll talk a little bit about Betsy before the sad events. She did well in high school. She graduated with honors in 1965, and she graduated 5th in her class, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
In fall 1965, so she took no breaks. She went to Hope College, which I believe was a community college, for her AA. Her college roommate said that she was intelligent and fascinating and had feminist traits. So it's giving girl's girl.
Go girl, absolutely.
She was 5'8", had long brown hair, and she was just absolutely stunning. She was very focused on her schoolwork. Boys were very attracted to her, but she wasn't distracted by the boys too much. She was pretty, like, eye on the prize schoolwork. Mm-hmm. When she went to Hope College, she was initially hoping to become a doctor. And then by the time she started at the University of Michigan in 1967, where she was going to do the last 2 years to get her bachelor's degree, she wasn't really interested in becoming a doctor anymore. She had fallen in love with arts and English, so that's what she was majoring in for her bachelor's. She started dating David Wright her senior year at University of Michigan, and she graduated with her bachelor's degree in 1969. So there was one boy who was lucky enough to catch her eye.
Aw, yeah.
She graduated in 1969 with her bachelor's. She was considering going to the Peace Corps, but when she talked to David about it, he said that he wasn't sure like how their relationship was going to hold up if she went like international, and he was going on to med school, so he knew that he couldn't join her in the Peace Corps. And I don't think it was like an ultimatum type thing where he's like, you can't go, but I think he was just like, I don't know if that's the type of relationship for me.
Yeah, they just had to go their separate ways kind of thing.
Well, if she went, yeah.
Oh, if she went.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's fair.
Yeah, especially when you're that young and
right,
and all that.
So she decided not to go to the Peace Corps because she was prioritizing David, and she instead decided to go to Pennsylvania State for her grad degree. She enrolled at Penn State in the fall of 1969 to stay close to David. David attended medical school at Penn State Hershey, which is about 2 hours away. So same school overall, but like different campuses, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was kind of crazy because so she was going to University of Michigan before going to Penn State for her grad degree, and women were actually starting to be murdered at University of Michigan. So her family was like super happy that because she almost stayed at University of Michigan for her graduate degree as well, and then went to Penn State, and everyone was like really relieved that she was getting away from there.
Right.
And that was the co-ed killer, who was 22-year-old John Normal Collins. Her boyfriend went to Penn State Hershey. Betsy's roommate, Sharon Brandt, later recalled that Betsy spent much of her free time either studying or going to see her boyfriend at Penn State Hershey. They were on Thanksgiving break in 1969, celebrating with David, so she was at his campus. They were with some of his friends celebrating the holiday. But Betsy was pretty stressed out because I believe she'd been at Penn State for her graduate degree for about 8 weeks now, but she felt like she was falling behind on this English assignment she had due. So she was stressed out, decided to cut her break early and to head back to her campus so that she could get to work on this English assignment that she had. So November 27th, 1969, David Wright dropped Betsy off at the bus station to head back to Penn State so she could speak to her professors about the research paper. Sadly, once David dropped her off at this bus station, he never saw her again. And they had been dating for about a year at this point and had plans to be engaged by Christmas. And this was November 27th.
God damn it.
It makes me want to cry. It's so
all the
sad.
Pieces were falling into place. Oh.
I know. And it's not like she was like boy crazy. Like, she really liked this guy too, and he seemed to really like her too.
Ooh.
I know. I'm fine.
Ouch. You poked my heart.
November 28th, 1969, so the next day after being dropped off at the bus station, around 4 p.m., Betsy visits with her professor, Nicholas Juvovsky, and told him of her intention to visit the Stacks at the library, which is like a part of the library. And it gets its name, the Stacks, because it's just like, I've looked at pictures of this online. It looks like it's rows of books that kind of slide. The rows, like when you walk in between them, can be super narrow, and it just goes like almost as like you almost lose sight of the end of it. Like, it goes so far. And I think it's like the 6th largest library in the country. So it's a huge library. Wow. So it's just stacks and stacks of books, pretty much, is why it got the name the Stacks. So she told the professor she was going to go to the Stack to try to get, I think, sources for her research paper. She walked to the library with a friend of hers, and they ended up splitting once they got there to go like do separate tasks at the library. Before she entered, she ran into 2 of her friends as well, Linda Marsa and Robert Steinberg. They had a brief conversation, and then Betsy went into the library. Betsy put some of her belongings in what they call a carrel assigned to her, which I think is just like a locker type situation. Mm-hmm. And I think you just kind of put your stuff there, go do your thing, and then you like come and pick it up at the end. She found the 2 references she was looking for in the card catalog, and then went up to the level 2 stack, so the 2nd floor, around 4:30. Dean Brugart was the last person to see her alive. He saw her standing alone in an aisle, and he observed 2 males talking to each other closer to the west end of the library than to where she was at. Richard Allen was at the photocopier, so I believe a student at the photocopier at the time, and he overheard a man and a woman having a conversation. He couldn't understand what they were saying, but nothing sounded alarming or noteworthy. A few minutes later, he heard a loud crash, and someone went running past him. At some point between 4:45 and 4:55, Betsy was stabbed once in the left breast between rows 50 and 51. In the attack, her pulmonary artery was severed and the right ventricle of her heart was pierced. As Betsy slumped to the ground after the attack, she also pulled down several books to the ground with her. Her assailant pulled the knife from her chest and ran. 2 students saw the person running from the scene of the commotion, yelling, "That girl needs help," while concealing his right hand. He was wearing I don't know. Okay, so this is from the Wikipedia page, and I also heard another podcast talking about it, but it says he was wearing washable khakis, a tie, and a sports jacket. I thought all khakis were washable.
I guess we learn something new every day.
Maybe back then, like, you could only dry clean a lot of them or something. I don't know.
One time use khakis.
That's not very ecological or economic. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
There we go.
So he had his washable khakis on, tie, and a sports jacket. He was approximately 6 foot, had brown kempt hair, and about 185 pounds. So pretty fucking average.
Right.
Just like a dude. Yeah.
Typical. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the man led the two students to Betsy's body, and then one of the students saw him leaving the library as they were trying to, like, get her to wake up. Mm-hmm. And the student attempted to follow him, but the suspect ran from the library and outran the student who was following him. Police later appealed to the public for this man to come forward, and no one ever did. And he was never identified.
And
people began coming to Betsy's aid. A call was made to the campus police at 5:01 p.m. Responders were initially told a girl had fainted. When first responders arrived, they placed Betsy on a gurney and took her out of the library via a service elevator. And the first responders who arrived were student paramedics from, like, the college health center. The student paramedics continued to attempt CPR as they were removing Betsy from the library on the gurney. An ambulance was called and brought Betsy to the health center on site. Betsy was wearing a white turtleneck sweater with a red sleeveless dress over the sweater, which really takes me back. You know, like wearing a sweater with a dress. I feel like we did, like, that was in style for us in high school too. Sometimes,
for
like,
sure.
A little, I don't know, something, and then like a cami over it.
Yes, like the layers.
Yeah. The stab wound was not initially visible to the paramedics because it wasn't bleeding much, which I guess is something that can happen with puncture wounds, is that, like, they can bleed a lot inside, but not actually, like, come out of the puncture wound. So when Betsy arrived at the health center, a more senior health professional saw the blood seeping through her clothing and ordered the other health professionals to stop administering CPR. Betsy was declared dead at 5:50 p.m. So this was about an hour after the actual stab had happened that she was declared dead. A $25,000 reward was offered for information on her murder by the police. Usually during this time period, there would have been about 400 visitors who had entered and left the library between 4:30 and 5 p.m. However, this was during the school break, so they estimated only about 90 people had probably come in and out of the library during that 30-minute window. The crime scene was quickly compromised. Aardsma had urinated sometime during or after the attack, and library staff, having thought that she had just fainted, requested the janitor staff clean up the urine. Yeah. Which totally destroyed. Yeah. Yep, totally compromised the scene. They also fixed the shelving and restacked the books that had fallen as well. So that's just like any, like, DNA that could have been there, right. Or even them knowing, like, which books to try to get DNA off of. Like,
it's all compromised.
Yeah, and it just sucks too because, like, no one really did anything that wrong besides the assailant.
Right.
But it's like they just didn't know. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
Police thought that Aardsma knew her assailant because the rows were so narrow that they wouldn't have been able to pass each other without, like, kind of turning their bodies sideways, and it would be weird to do that unless you know the person. Mm-hmm. Also, the assailant struck her from the front, and she didn't try to scream or to run away, which I don't know how much I agree with. Like, I feel like it still could have been
like someone in shock, maybe.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, police know better than me, but to me it seems like it could still maybe be someone else, and you're just trying to squeeze by. I mean, right. You get put in this weird situation and maybe you go through with it, you know? So the police ruled out stalking, as no one but her professor that she had spoken to before and her boyfriend knew that she would be even at Penn State, let alone in the library. Because she had come back early. She was still supposed to be at the Hershey campus with her boyfriend. Again, though, I do feel like a stalker could have, like, seen her, you know, so I don't know. Some of these rule outs, I'm like, I don't know. But again, I'm not the cops. I don't know what I'm no authority on this. The boyfriend obviously was questioned and considered as a suspect. He was quickly ruled out, and he seemed to genuinely be worried about her. He later said that he would always wonder what their lives would have looked like if she hadn't gone back to school.
Oh,
I can't.
David.
I don't know why this, like, the love story between them is just so sad.
It's so tragic.
It is. It's just like that young star-crossed lovers, and they're both, like, doing so good and in school and doing everything they should be, and...
Right.
It's very heartbreaking. So they did still try to investigate the crime scene. Semen was found, and I quote, pretty much everywhere in the aisle the attack had taken place in, and some of it was days old. Oh. So there were also
I was not expecting that.
No. I as well was not. I was like, hold up.
Okay.
There were also mini porn magazines stored between books in this section, and then there was like a desk like a couple rows over that had a bunch of porn stacked on it as well. A lot of the sources that you look into for this case will mention like homosexual porn as well, and it's mentioned that like the police thought that maybe she walked up on like a homosexual encounter and that she saw them and she was attacked because of that. But that also feels weird to me. It feels like something that someone would have said back in 1969.
Right. That's so weird.
Right. Like, why do we have to say that it's homosexual porn? Like, there's also heterosexual porn there as well. So, like, there's just porn.
There's all kinds of porn.
Right. There's just porn there. I'm sure there's some weird heterosexual stuff. Like,
for sure.
Like, I don't know. Anyways, so it was thought that this may have been a place where people went to masturbate or engage in sexual activity or exhibitionism. So maybe Betsy walked up on someone in some kind of sexual encounter. So William Spencer was one of the suspects. He claimed to have killed the girl in the library at a Christmas staff party in 1969. So there's that.
Okay. Is that an appropriate time and place, William? I don't know. Like, did he...
No, that's hilarious. I actually didn't think about that. Like, the Christmas party.
Right. It's something like Michael Scott would do, you know? Yeah. If he was a murderer.
Yes.
Which is not, I assume. Yeah.
Oh, don't let him be. I can't.
Please don't. Yeah.
I can't.
We need something good in this world to, like, hold on to.
Until Reputation.
Right.
So, yeah, he claimed that he killed the girl in the library at a Christmas staff party. He says, so he was a professor, and I couldn't tell if he was a professor at Penn State or at a college nearby, but he was a sculpture professor. And he claimed that during her time there, she had become acquainted with him enough to come pose nude for his sculpture class for money. And maybe, but it just seems doubtful. Like, the people who knew Betsy said that doesn't seem like something she would have done. She was very conservative and modest. So who knows?
Very demure.
Very demure, very cutesy.
Not like other girls.
No.
Sorry, I'll stop.
Please don't. These claims were never corroborated and didn't seem like something Betsy would do, according to her close friends and family. Police ruled him out because he had just moved there a few weeks before, and they didn't think there was enough time for Betsy to have become acquainted with him at the level that he was saying that they were.
Mm-hmm. But it's still weird. Like, why would you just, like, almost like in a braggy kind of way? Like,
I know.
It's just weird, even though you did it, most likely. Like,
but I do feel like you hear about that a lot in true crime, where someone, like, falsely confesses. And I've never been able to wrap my head around it. It's I almost feel like those people have the mentality of, like, no attention is bad attention.
Ugh.
But, like,
ew.
No, it is. It's really bad attention.
Right. Yeah, like,
Like, this is probably the only way you're remembered anymore, William. Sorry.
Congrats.
That was mean, but...
Hey.
But that's fucking weird. Yeah, so...
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Another suspect was Larry Maurer. That is M-A-U-R-E-R. How would you say that?
M-A-U-R. Maurer. It's like corroborate. Can't. Maurer? Yeah.
Maurer. Okay. Betsy was known to have had coffee with him and been acquainted with him during her short time at Penn State. He, like, severely did not match the description of first of all, I think the assailant had glasses and he did not, and then he was blonde hair, assailant had brown hair. Mm-hmm. He just, like, didn't at all I think he was shorter, too, than 6 foot. He just didn't match the description at all. So he was ruled out pretty quickly. And then there is Richard Hafner. He was a 25-year-old geology grad student at the time of Betsy's attack. He went on to become a very successful geology professor later, and was, like, I think, world-renowned geologist. But he was always known to be an oddball and, like, very awkward socially. He's known to have taken extreme measures to maintain platonic relationships with women to conceal his homosexuality. He drove 800 miles one time to tell a woman who he had met once that he loved her. So, okay. Can you imagine?
Interesting. Yeah. Ooh. That is an interesting choice.
Mm-hmm. It's like one of those things that, like, if you guys had, like, a really, like, established, like, cute relationship, that could be a really cute thing. Mm-hmm. You know, driving 800 miles to say it. But if you met once, it's terrifying.
It's a little, yeah, absolutely. Very.
Did I ever tell you about the Tinder boy who called my job?
No.
Okay. This is not a recent one. This was back before I was married. But... yeah, we had matched on Tinder, and then this was during COVID, so, you know, people weren't meeting up and stuff, so we decided we were going to do Netflix party, so you could watch the show at the same time as the other person, so, like, when you hit play, it plays on both screens, so, like, you're not off at all, and then there's, like, a little chat thing, almost like this program we're using on the side, so you could, like, chat while you're watching.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, and I sent him a link on Tinder for the Netflix party, and I didn't know, I guess because, and I don't know if it's still the same or not, but, like, back then you couldn't send links on Tinder. They would shut your account down because I guess they thought you were trying to, like, send OnlyFans links or something like that, like some kind of spam. Mm-hmm. So I sent the link, and then he says in the chat, he's like, oh, I don't know if you're allowed to do that or something like that. And I'm like, well, whatever, it's still working, and I didn't think much of it. We went on the Netflix party thing. And it was, like, a little awkward. He was like, give me a second, I'm going to go make popcorn. And I'm like, okay, no worries. And I, like, started playing guitar while he was going to make popcorn. And then I kind of, like, got into playing guitar for a few minutes. And then I looked down and he had said, I'm back. And he's like, hello. And I was like, oh, sorry, like, I got a little distracted. It was maybe 5 minutes total. And I'm like, sorry, I got distracted with the guitar. And he just said, that's a weird time for that. Or something. And I was like, what?
Okay.
I was waiting on you. Yeah, so I was just like, okay. And we watched Borat, the, second or third one? Whatever the newer one was, which was hilarious. But he was just, like, boring throughout the date. So it was like, whatever. And we got off of it. I went to bed. I don't think until the next day I tried to open Tinder again. And my profile, like, wasn't working. Like, I couldn't send messages. Everything was weird. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if what he said was true. Or when I sent the link, my account was, like, closed down or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I have no one important that I'm talking to right now. Like, I was super busy with work at the time. I wasn't hitting it off with anyone on there. So I was like, whatever, I'll deal with it when I get to it. So I think it was like 2 weeks later. I hadn't even thought about Tinder, opening it, anything like that. I get a call on my cell phone that someone had just called the office for me. Now.
Oh my gosh.
I was not an employee yet with this company. I was like kind of contracted. I had just like been upgraded from an intern to where they were using me like for research projects and stuff, but it was like an every 6 weeks type of thing. So like I had never even been in the office at this point.
Oh my gosh.
And I get a call saying Nick was looking for you at the Nick called for you at the office. And I'm like, Nick who? And they're like, I don't know. And my brother's name's Nick, but I'm like, it's not him. And I think I even texted him and asked him, and he's like, no. He's like, why would I call you like them?
I have your phone number.
Right. So I'm like, I have no idea who this could be, but they gave me the number to call back. So I like built up the courage, you know, I'm pissed, right? I'm like, who is spam calling me? At my job. Or like I thought maybe it was a bill collector or something too, because I had credit card debt. I was in school. I had credit card debt and stuff, so I'm like, could it be a bill collector? You know, anyways, I'm pissed. I'm dialing the number. The first time, I guess I was so mad my fingers hit the wrong numbers. And it was like, boop, 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 this number is not real, you know? And I was like, God, I can't even call them back. They were calling me from like a fake number. And I was like, you know what, one more time. I'll try it one more time. I did. And someone's like, hello? And I'm like, hi, who is this?
Listen here, buddy.
Yeah. And he goes, Nick? I'm like, Nick who?
Were you sent by someone?
Right. Who wanted me dead? No. I'm like, Nick who? And I like I sound pissed. Because, again, I'm thinking this is a bill collector calling my job. And he's like, Nick, like we met on Tinder. We had that date that one time. And I'm like, I was like, first of all, I was silent for like a good 10 seconds. Because I'm like, I don't even know. I was just like in shock. I forgot even that Nick was a person, that Nick existed. Like, I'm so sorry, Nick. But we just didn't hit it off, you know? So like it had just been out of my memory, really.
Right.
And I was just silent for a bit, and then I'm like, okay. And I was like, so how did you find out where I work? Because I did not put on my profile where I worked. I put that I was like a research technician, and then I think it said like at nonprofit or something, or at conservation. He Googled like conservation places in the city that I live in, and he told me this. And it was one of the top searches. So he like called and asked, is Tori there? And then they're like, oh, she's not in right now. And then called me.
Man.
So like he was like, you know, like just, and I was like, I don't know what to say right now, man. I gotta go. And he was like, okay. And I was just like blown away. And I thought about it because part of me was like, I don't know, is this cute?
Right.
But then the other part of me is like, no, like he found out where I was working when I didn't tell him. And like, again, if we had this like really cute connection and then my Tinder like cut us off, it would be different. But we had that one date that wasn't very good.
Yeah,
and then he found out
your guitar playing weird.
Right. And then he found out where I worked at and called. And I didn't even actually work there yet. So, yeah. So weird. I ended up texting him like a few hours later, and I was like, listen, dude, that was real weird for me. And I don't think I want to continue this.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
To anyone.
Yeah. No.
Oh
Anyways,
my gosh.
I thought that was kind of comparable. It's like one of those things that like could be cute under different circumstances.
Right. Yeah.
She also didn't think it was cute, and she shut the door on him and called the police.
Yeah.
Fair.
That was probably yeah.
So, Richard Hafer was also known to have explosive anger outbursts and erratic behavior. He was known to frequently dress in khakis and had brown, kempt hair.
Washable?
It didn't specify, but that is my number one question.
Yeah.
Betsy had recently terminated their friendship as well. So they like had been friends for a little bit. And like, again, she had only been on this campus for like 8 weeks. So I think she met him on campus. They had gone to like a couple, I don't want to call it dates, but they had like gotten together a couple times. And then I think she realized he was like, not a good person and was like, we're not going to be friends anymore. Also, I think he was trying to, like, kind of, like, be flirty with her, and she was very loyal to David, so she wasn't having any of that, and she terminated their friendship. So that had happened recently before her murder, and it's thought that he also stole some precious rocks and minerals from the Geology Museum at Penn State. He spent the following 2 years post the attack studying off campus as well, which is just interesting.
Yeah.
And he had a striking resemblance to the police sketch that was made of the guy who had ran away from the scene. So.
Very suspicious.
Yeah. He was questioned in December of 1969, but there wasn't enough. Like, there was some circumstantial evidence, but there just wasn't anything solid enough to where they could have arrested him. And the police in this case, like, did do their due diligence. Like, they went down every path.
Aw.
And, yeah, they're just... Can you imagine, like, today's age, like, there would have been cameras.
Oh, yeah. Cameras.
You know? Somewhere on that campus. Like, definitely at the front of the library. If not, like, in the level 2 stacks.
I just can't believe, like, anger problems. She cut off the friendship. He steals things. Like, he matches the description. Oh, that must have been so frustrating
I
for
know.
the police. Yeah.
And the family.
Oh,
Yeah. And David. Ugh. So he ended up later owning a family rock shop, geologist, so rocks and stuff. He would have, like, teenage boys work at the shop, and in 1975, 2 teenage boys separately accused him of molesting them, and he was arrested and ended up going to trial for that, but it was a hung jury trial, and then he eventually was able to get it expunged a couple years later. Because it was a hung trial, yeah, and I don't think they ever retried it or anything. I guess I don't know the laws on the hung trial, but
Right.
yeah, it seems like it was just let go. Yeah, Lauren Wrights, who I believe was a professor at Penn State, came to the police in 1976. So this is 7 years later after the attack, letting them know that the night of Aardsma's murder, Richard Hafner came to his house, stating a girl he dated was just murdered in the library, which conflicts with the story that Richard told the officers, because Richard said that he was in the dining hall when he heard rumors of her getting stabbed, and then he said that he went somewhere right after the dining hall, and it wasn't to this professor's house. So if he did go to this professor's house, it's not lining up with the story that he told officers initially. In 1992, he was arrested again for taking a teenage boy on a trip without parental consent.
What is wrong with this guy?
Right. And the charges were dropped because the mother had let him take the boy on trips before with consent. So they were like, I don't understand why you drop it. She didn't give consent this time.
Right. That's so...
It's 1992 for you. It's so 1992.
Very, very much so.
Richard Hafner died of a heart attack in 2002, which actually, like, was kind of similar to the way that Aardsma would have died as well. I guess it was something about the right ventricle, like, kind of bursting. So that's kind of a weird, like, twist of fate that he may have suffered in a similar fashion.
Right.
And he was in the Mojave Desert looking for rocks when he passed away. They also said, too, that Betsy probably wouldn't have been able to scream out for help when she passed away because she would have been drowning on her own blood, which is one of the reasons she probably wasn't able to scream. But it probably took her about 6 minutes to pass away from the wound that was inflicted. So I hope he got at least 10.
Oh, for sure. And it was, like, super painful, and...
I really hope so. If he did it, which...
Right. Well, even regardless if he didn't, the other things he did were not great.
Yeah.
Pretty awful.
That's a good point.
So
good point.
He deserves it.
Yeah. So this is interesting. So he passed away in 2002. In 2009, a nephew of his came to police and told them that he had overheard a conversation between Richard and Richard's mother, where Richard's mother was angry with Richard. And this occurred shortly after the 1975 arrest with the two boys. It was a heated discussion, and the mother had expressed her concerns of whether the police suspected him of having killed the girl and was angry for Richard coming into the police's line of questioning again after all her efforts to protect him.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mommy dearest.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And again, even that is circumstantial because it's just someone coming to the police saying it, but like, why would...
Right, that's just a random... You don't just do that.
Right.
Like, for no reason.
And in 2009, so I don't know. So much longer after.
Wow.
Due to the circumstances of Betsy's attack, they did actually end up having tighter security on campus, and they established a campus police force in 1970, the year after. So at least things were a little bit safer moving forward, but but yeah, that is the case of Betsy Aardsma,
and still technically unsolved. So going through the suspects, that was and it just is crazy how her family was so happy that she was moving away from University of Michigan with those murders, and then only for most likely Richard to take her life there. Yeah. And David.
Yeah. I can't. Their love story, it's like something you would read about in books, I feel like. It's so sweet and cute, and gosh, yeah.
I wonder where he is today.
I know. Actually, I feel like I remember one of the podcasts talking about it. Oh, yeah, that's right. He's a physician, a very successful doctor now.
Oh, so, good for him.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the podcasts I got a lot of the information from is called True Crime All the Time Unsolved, and it was episode 89. I will put that link in the show notes. I really enjoyed this podcast. They just have a very chill demeanor, but also very knowledgeable, and it sounds like he's written true crime books too.
Oh wow.
So he's got that kind of investigative side, and yeah, I really enjoyed their podcast. And then another one I listened to was Crime and Coffee Couple, and that one, the episode title is The Murder of Betsy Aardsma at Penn State, and I'll put the link in the show notes for that as well.
Okay, cool.
You should look at pictures of the stacks.
Yeah, it seems scary, you would almost get squished accidentally sometime. You know those rolling ones,
Yeah, it looks like they do slide, right?
Right. That's what I honestly thought where the story was going. I thought she got squished.
Oh my god, that would be terrible. Yeah. It just goes down so far. I tell you what, I don't want to masturbate in there.
I know. It was weird that there was this whole did they test the surrounding aisles, or was it this specific aisle that was covered in semen?
No, I think it was some of the surrounding. I'm sure funding only lets you test so far. You can't just be is the semen still over here?
Right.
But no, I think it was in a couple rows. So
that is interesting.
Yeah. Maybe the 1960s were a different time,
It was wild, man, apparently.
Yeah, I never walked up on anyone.
That was the summer of love.
Yeah. I never walked up on anyone masturbating at my college library.
I can't say I've seen that either. Mm-hmm. Thankfully.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I am
We're blessed.
Grateful. Mm-hmm.
Hashtag blessed. Well, that was a really good story. Thank you for sharing.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting for sure. And it was kind of fun because I had never heard of this one before.
Right. For sure.
Should we talk about some happy stuff again? Should we sandwich it?
Yeah.
Palate cleanser.
Let's just put a nice little top onto the sandwich. Yeah. Well, also, we did get So Long London at the show as well, which we were all waiting for. How could she not?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was so good. She was singing to me. I know it. So, yeah, I'm going through a divorce right now. I don't know if we've mentioned that. I don't think
so, no.
And, yeah, I felt like she was singing to me. I'm pretty sure she did that for me.
Aw, yeah. It was just so, like, poetic and
on the piano.
It was good. Yeah. That was so good. And now there's a break.
I know. Are we... So the VMAs?
Right. So the VMAs, right? Well, there is that whole thing in the Tortured Poets Department, that letter from Stevie Nicks says like September 13th, which I don't know when the VMAs are.
The 10th.
That's okay. Suspicious. Yeah, I've heard some rumblings of the VMAs, but I just think like what she did at the Grammys with Tortured Poets, like I don't know if she'd do that again.
Yeah, I don't know either. Maybe she'll have it as like a stipulation, like if I get this certain award, then I'll do it, because that's kind of what it was at the Grammys.
Right,
but it doesn't
sure.
guarantee that she'll do it either. What do you think about the no explanation? Like, do you? Because how much of no explanation can she really do? I feel like she would miss out on a lot of money if she no explained it.
Right. Yeah.
And that just
she
isn't really giving
to do.
Yeah. It just really isn't giving her style lately. I just can't really imagine her not like just dropping it.
Right. It is the whole, like, maybe the no explanation will be, like, there's no Easter eggs leading up to the announcement.
But she's already done so many. What about the black nail? And don't tell me it was a red herring for Tortured Poets Department.
Dude, the coffee cup has to mean something. Like, come on.
If it was a red herring, do you think she was gonna do Reputation when she did the Karma music video? And that's why it was a black nail. And then later they were just like, oh, red herring.
Right. That's a good point.
Or was it always going to be TTPD?
I don't know. Because, like, she was writing TTPD pretty much in 2023. Like, she started writing it in 2023, right?
No, because it came out this year and she had it for 2 years.
For 2 years. Okay. So since 2022. I don't know.
These are the things I think about as I'm trying to sleep at night.
Thanks for joining us on today's episode of Crimenelia Street. You can follow us on Instagram at Crimenelia Street. You can follow us on TikTok at Crimenelia ST Podcast, or you can email us at crimeneliast@gmail.com.
Bye, clowns.
Bye, clowns.